So Graham, we've been working together a year and a half, coming up for 2 years now, and we started our journey together when you were a new head of the school. It's been your first headship, and you became a new head in the middle of COVID. Yeah, so you were never coached before being coached by me. How's it been being coached by me?
Well, it's been such a positive experience from the very first session. It's been inspiring, I think is the way I would describe it. From the first session, you made me feel really comfortable, really calm and relaxed, and really acted as a positive sounding board for me during good times, but also some really difficult moments that I've experienced over the last year to 18 months. The sessions have been really motivational to me. They've been sessions that I've looked forward to, and they've really instilled belief in me when belief was maybe draining out of me due to different circumstances and the difficulties of headship, full stop, but headship within a worldwide pandemic as well. So those discussions and chats have really inspired me and motivated me to get to the point where I am today.
And I think you're right. I think headship is a challenging job in itself, never mind throw into the mix a worldwide pandemic. And you've done brilliantly. And let's just say, led your school to a good Ofsted, which is fantastic. So you've participated in the Leadership Coach-sulting Programme. How do you think the programme's helped you to develop as a leader, and maybe mentioning that the whole experience of going through the 360-degree peer feedback process and how that helped you?
Yes, I mean, that was something that I'd not really done something like that before, and it was really good to sit down and look at it from my own point of view and reflect on the strengths as I saw them, and also areas for development. But then really, really interesting to compare what my colleagues, and they were relatively new colleagues as well, thought about me answering the same questions, and to compare maybe some of the areas that I felt were areas of development they actually thought were strong, and then some areas that I hadn't maybe thought that were weaknesses, but that maybe they thought were something to work on. So it was really interesting to look at those. And then to put some real goals around those as a result of the feedback that came from my colleagues. So one of the things was around delegation, and my, I suppose, inability to delegate, particularly at the start of a new headship, not knowing any of the other staff, and trying to take everything on board myself. So really having the belief and confidence in other very experienced staff that were around me to continue to do a good job in the school as they were doing prior to me being there, and me letting go a little bit, so delegating to those. But also then identifying lots of changes that needed to happen within the school, and managing change, lots of changes simultaneously. So I think all of that come together, it really, really helped in kind of reflecting on where I was and where I wanted to move forward to.
And I've seen in you this ability to be much sharper and more quick to prioritise, be more strategic in making those decisions around change. So I can say I've definitely noticed, throughout our ongoing journey together, you've definitely developed that. You're right. Okay, what school improvement priorities has the programme helped you to drive forwards, and how do you think coaching's helped you to do this?
There's been an awful lot of change over the last 12 months, curriculum changes, policy changes. So being able to juggle those things all at the same time, to get the best out of other people and the best out of myself, to make sure that the changes that needed to happen were done in a timely manner, without putting additional stress and anxiety on other staff, so that they were done in the right time. And ultimately what happened was that Ofsted then arrived on the back of those changes, and they gave the feedback from the inspector was glowing around the changes that we had made. In terms of real priorities, parental engagement was one that was identified, and it was really difficult because of the pandemic and parents not being allowed into school and so on. So the coaching really allowed me to discuss different ways of communicating with parents and how that could be done, getting around the obvious obstructions that we had due to the pandemic. A huge change that's happening is around early reading and phonics, and working with yourself to look at how that could happen, putting key milestones in place to ensure that we meet those milestones in a timely manner. Yeah.
And we've just, haven't we, done a bit of a phonics, a really practical action plan to make those things happen.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. How do you think coaching has been useful in helping navigate challenges in the school?
It's been invaluable. It's been an opportunity for me to talk about what the challenges have been, to hear you pose similar scenarios that you may have come across in your own career or other scenarios, and to be able to look at what we've done in school and offer solutions moving forward. You've suggested certain tools and strategies to me, which have been great as well. So the GROW model, the importance matrix as well. One of the challenges that I had was feeling like there were so many things coming at me all at once and not knowing what needed to be prioritized, because it felt like everything was so important. But using those tools to be able to put a priority list in place and to work through them without at the detriment of my own well-being, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay. How do you think the programme has supported your well-being?
It's been crucial. It really has. I would never have. I knew it was going to be a challenge taking over as a head teacher. When I applied, the pandemic wasn't even a thing. So starting in September 2020 in this role, in the middle of the pandemic, has been so hard, and it has had a real impact on my own well-being. But the talks with you and the meetings have given me lots of practical tools to be able to impact on my day-to-day routines. So lots of little quick wins that I've implemented into my daily cycle that have made me feel better and being able to be much more positive. Just little things like different apps around calmness, music, meditation, different things like that. You've given me lots of reading recommendations as well, which have been great. And also the discussions and that positive affirmation of that I am doing a good job, and to hear it from someone like yourself and really putting things into perspective. And if there's been a scenario where I've been really catastrophizing about something going wrong, or you've been able to really bring me back to an even keel and put things in perspective, and think about things logically moving forward. And if there is a challenge or a difficulty, right, okay, what are you going to do? What are your next steps to solve that challenge? So again, just having that person there with the wealth of experience that you do have has been so important for me.
Great. And final question, what do you think are the benefits of being coached by an external independent coach?
I think ultimately it's allowed me to be completely honest with myself. If it was somebody that wasn't completely external, I might not have opened up quite as much as I think I have done over the last year or so. And it's allowed me to just share exactly what I feel is going on, and my difficulties around that, and being free to say what I am finding difficult. That's not always been something that I've been very good at, and maybe kind of masking the fact that I'm not feeling good about something, or I am really worried, putting a brave face on things. Whereas in our sessions, I've been able to say exactly how I'm feeling, what the challenges are, without any worry. And ultimately, I think what that has then led on to is me feeling more confident to speak with colleagues around me and family members about how I'm feeling about different things, and really having kind of a holistic support now around me to meet the challenges that headship brings on a day-to-day basis.
Thank you, Graham, and it's been an absolute pleasure coaching you, and I look forward to continuing our ongoing coaching journey together.
Absolutely. Thank you.